The next day, on Sunday, I decided I was going to do the best I could. I was really, really hungry. I hadn't eaten much the day before, so I bought myself a sandwich. It turns out it was made by French bread with sausage and egg in it, and I enjoyed it. And the walk there was pretty fast. I didn't take pictures. I didn't do anything. I just went as fast as I could because I was trying to get there because my cousin said she would come. I was like, okay, I'm going to prep everything for this. And this is a shot of the break lounge for the volunteers, and there isn't a lot. And it's actually just a storage area. They just kind of moved some stuff. And this guy's entire commentary was how to score better on video games. And yeah, he just showed videos, and I I made sure to take that video so that my friend Adam could see it. And then I went around and I talked to vendors again, and I played video games, and I bought video games. I spent somewhere around 30-40 bucks at this show on video games, and I'm gonna shorten it down to 20-30 bucks. But there were a couple splurges, I'll be honest. But I played the retro emulator, and you know what? It was pretty accurate to what Castlevania is really like, or what this Castlevania is really like. I know because I have this game. And oh my gosh, watch this little girl. She doesn't know how to use a oh what she doesn't know how to use the controls.
She doesn't know how to use the joystick. She's trying to use it as a D-pad.
No, she has to hit them first.
Just touch him. Just touch him.
One of the cutest things you could possibly imagine. Oh! Check this out. Sega in Japan would actually made a computer system, and they said that anybody could make this computer system, and it would actually play Sega. Oh, what is it? Master System. Oh, I don't think I have the right term here, but the console before the Genesis, and you could play this, and you could also play regular computer games and computer stuff. So this was a real rarity to find in the US, and oh my gosh, it is gorgeous. It was sold before I even had the thought to buy it. And now that I think about it, I'm like, man, you know, a couple buddies would have loved this. It even has the FM hookup. You know, you could hook up the FM drive to it and get even better sound with some of the games. So I mean, it's a really, really, really cool thing. And yes, it was made by Sony, and there's actually versions made by Toshiba and other companies. So it's kind of a really cool thing, though you're not going to find it very often. And I don't know if it's worth it unless you are a collector. So, you know, if you see one, that's what it is. And it's a ton of fun. And then I attended a lecture by Chris Houlihan on how to save, or on how to collect. And I'm not a major collector, but you know, because of anthropology, I've become a collector. That's my excuse. That's why I have 12 consoles right now. I'm looking at them. 12, yeah, 12 that I'm looking at, and plus the 3 more downstairs. So 15. Yay, I'm a collector. Yeah. And I thought I'd get some pictures of him. And, you know, he gave some really good details on how to do things, how to think things through, how to haggle for things, how to prep for things. And Sunday was the day we decided to try out the what I'm going to call the dangling camera. And it's literally just a rope, a cord from one end to the other end. And literally, we couldn't try it. We couldn't get it accomplished at the Northwest Pinball and Arcade Show. We couldn't find anything sturdy enough. But we found that this staircase was just perfect. And I just... Oh, here. Try this out. This is...
After IS, right? The image stabilization afterwards? Here's the update. Okay, so it has the update. Oops, that's wrong.
It's just moving slowly. Here we go. It's the final frontier, yo. And that lump on my back, I'm getting it removed. That shot, this shot right here, is what convinced me to get rid of it.
The vibration's not bad. I think it's kind of cool though, it's like a new guy. I did this nice shot. I got a lot of really cool quality shots. I'll put it on Facebook. Oh yeah, there's no worry, man.
Oh yeah, that's a drone. Security. Security.
No, it's made of Lego. I actually haven't ran it halfway yet. It's probably gonna get really low for a bit, like kid height.
You'll like put lasso or pass him to the lights.
I'm trying to leave the lights alone, so I'm not violating any issues.
That's a good point.
Damn it. No? Note to self, that doesn't do anything. I can't really use that much.
Anyway, that's the shot. I don't... Oh, I'm going... Next time I edit these shots, I'm going to make sure that I've got... I'll silence it and stuff. But yeah, that was... the shots. And we made sure to get a lot of them. So, watch carefully. Oh, there's me and my camera.
The model I want to get though is $600. And it comes with its own 500 pin cable, auto stabilizing subscription. Works with the camera. Try to stand up. Stay on the field of view of the camera. Oh, you can follow it. Stay on the field of view.
Oh, say the I got you. But you said like purposely. No, I got you.
Yeah,
This
right.
is another test run then. Man, this is. Yeah, it's too low. Way too low.
What's happening here? Literal, yeah. Didn't plan on it drooping this low.
Photo sim?
Oh no, just a cable cam and a phone.
Well, I know, but are you going to generate panorama from the video?
Like make a solid image? Oh, we could probably. But still, the time lapse is really good for that.
Well, that's true. Yeah, if you do something like photogrammetry. Not too many people, though.
I'm not sure phones can do that by themselves. I think he's held it up in a computer.
There's
That's not free though, is it? That's kind of expensive.
it's free. It's a Microsoft thing.
Oh, I thought Google owned Photosense.
Okay. Absolutely amazing pan shots. What's this?
For what?
Okay. And this is actually going, hopefully you have enough sound, or the sound is low enough that I can do this. This is a special shot. We did this near the end of the show, so, you know, you'll notice that the crowds are moving away, that it's kind of going silent and there's less people. The cord got caught on a light and suddenly it's bouncing. That's what's going on. Really,
I'll help modify it to take the tripod. I'm thinking using the RC drone's best.
the entire point of this camera, or this shot, is we asked ourselves, what are we going to do if we can't get a drone inside of a building like this? I mean, it's just too dangerous. So we created different ways to do it without having to bother people and without having to have a problem, or as much of a problem. And this is what Ben came up with. He also has a great idea for a balloon system. And my shot was the moving tripod, remote control tripod. And this is near closing, so people are actually just shutting stuff down. They're taking off tablecloths. People are buying their last minute stuff, and they're just going as fast as they can. And it's
That's still below my head.
exactly what it looks like. Another Kyle was really useful. Honestly, those t-shirts, I kind of wanted to get them, or get one. But what is shaking it? I'm gonna have to do some steady cam on it, find out what's going on. But otherwise, this is great, great footage. Just a nice shot of life. I'll probably end up uploading these on their own so that you can enjoy them. But we did as many shots as we could. Here it is in time lapse. So people just slowly shutting everything down. You know, they started closing stuff down. They started taking things down. They started moving things. Only a few vendors decided to remain, while others were just like, okay, I'm going to start cleaning up. And, I mean, some of these displays were absolutely enormous. They were really difficult to figure out what to do with. And here we, you know, I'm just enjoying this shot. You'll notice that the volunteers all kind of gather together to say hello to each other. And we just took what pictures we could and hoped everyone enjoyed it. And they just started boxing stuff up while people were buying. Just watch slowly. Well, watch quickly, really. Anyway, this shot and many others are going to be uploaded soon enough. Just so that... What the... Anyway, that was the day, and I am going to call it here. I don't know how to say this, but I have some roommates who decided that they're just going to be really noisy today, and I'm trying to, record this while they're here, but it's been kind of annoying. I've already stopped my recording twice now, so anyway, that live and let live, I guess. But I did press the wrong button during the previous recording that you saw, and I've decided to start from here. And you know what? I forgot to mention something really important, and I didn't take a picture of it, but there was a lot of offenders who were saying, "Go away." No, they weren't saying go away. They were saying, "Oh man, we don't have a lot of people coming our way." And one section I could figure out, because where you were buying the game, or where you were buying your tickets in, you couldn't actually see that row, so they didn't have a lot of people going in. They had tons of games, they had tons of stuff for people to see, it's just nobody actually could see it, so they would just go into the next aisle. What I decided to do for a further area near the free play arcade was to have a kind of a gathering thing, and we were between speakers, so I just got on the phone, microphone, and I had to arrange it all while making sure that the moving tripod was working and the dangling camera was working and everybody was being taken care of. It was honestly kind of a lot to take care of. But I got up on the mic and we set everything up, and I said, okay, we're going to take on all comers. The Arcade Armageddon guy is the winner of the Arcade Armageddon is ready to take on anybody. And we told him to go to Free Play Arcade and pick out the games that he was best at. And he said, okay. And he was entirely embarrassed and just freaking out that we were letting him do this, but he did it. And he kicked everybody's butt. One guy was really proud of himself because he beat the Arcade Armageddon winner once. And was like, I beat him. I mean, he beat me 2 more times, but I beat him once. It was fighting games, so now you know. Anyway, all this was happening, and the show just started to end. And I was trying to get everything organized, but tables were being taken care of, and people were just going, "Oh, well, it's time. Let's go." And I mean, this was happening very, very fast. The people in charge of booths were just like, we don't have time for this. And, they quickly just started to pack everything up, except for a couple people where their displays were just very, very complex. But even they were starting to pack up, and you could just see them just starting to move stuff, get stuff in, get stuff out. And we still had people playing video games at that time, which frankly is smart, because that's what this show is all about, is playing video games. I don't even know what game this is, but it's actually from the computer, and we were watching a video on something or other. I can't remember what it was, but he was showing it off to me. This is from the point of view of the volunteer. And we just started to help people close up and gather sheets and put them down and organize them, and that was pretty much my job for about an hour or two, was just waiting for people to collect, finish off their desks, and I could grab their sheets. And they were stacking chairs, they were taking care of the projectors, they were making sure things were okay. And this is the aisle that had the problems with people not going in, so I made sure to bring in the Arcade Armageddon guy into it. And I actually ended up chatting with a lot of people. Some of the people were just kind of, nobody was talking to them, so they felt lonely. So I just sat there and chatted with them to make them feel a little bit better, because, I've been there. And other people were just, this guy just plugged in and he completely ignored us while he was playing video games. And it just, as I've shown you from the Northwest Pinball and Arcade show, the room just started to empty. The tables were taken care of, the people were taken care of, and yeah, there was still some stuff out, but it just emptied and emptied and emptied. Keep in mind, these were all full-on places. You're looking at pictures of, big complex projects, and it just started to empty. And people were just leaving, grabbing their stuff, and going as fast as they could. And we're suddenly left with, or not suddenly, slowly everything started to move apart. And we were left with an empty room. That's the dangling camera, in case you're wondering. It works the same as those things that you sit on when you're going skiing. It's just it's made of Lego, and it's actually a really impressive device, and my compliments to Ben who made it. And whenever you ask me for the moving tripod, I can get a hold of this, and we can have that as well. So, you know, you can get an over-the-head, nice swoop shot. It does amazing shots. My biggest problem is I kind of want it some kind of AI, so then it can do slow circle shots or slow pan shots of things. But that's my only complaint. And here it is moving. Yep. Slowly moving. That's all that it's doing. But that's the trick. Something this simple can do something that amazing. I mean, you saw the shots. You know what's going on here. And, you know, I stayed until the room was actually empty. And you're just watching it empty as we go. And oh my gosh, we had so much tape. And I think last year we had so much tape we named it. And this year we actually accidentally somebody threw away the tape ball that was starting, and so they started a new tape ball, and they just kept on going. And sorry, that's my roommates again, if you can hear that. And we just started to stack things and take care of things, and if you'll watch, all of the curtains were being taken down. And by the time I was done, there was nothing. There was nothing left. And there was no reason for it to be left. And so I decided I was going to I was really kind of frustrated because my cousin was supposed to show up, but she had a heart murmur happen, and she had to go to the hospital, and she had to be pushed in a wheelchair, and this was last minute. So I had all of her stuff, and I wanted to give her this stuff, and she couldn't make it. And it was really frustrating because I brought her box with all the stuff that she wanted, and it was random stuff, but I was just like, oh man, now I've got to put this into now I've got to schlep all this, and I don't know if I have enough room, if I can do this. So we put it on top of my moving tripod, and we got some shots. Watch carefully.
Okay. I picked up like a 50-pound plate with that thing. I was like, that's pretty strong. I can take it up the whole car, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, good. We should ready.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, this is going to get steadied when I post it, but this is Seattle Square. I should have filmed this in 4K, now that I think about it. So then when I steadied it, by the time it was done, it was at 1080p. Huh. Yeah, when it goes faster, it makes that sound. And I honestly, I'm trying to steady my hand right now from the recording. But it's kind of difficult to watch, so I'm going to pause it right there. But, it was a great little thing. And what's this? Oh, okay. And I put everything onto my car, and I basically... I grabbed a taxi, and he was very, very nice. I made sure to pay him, you know, a little bit extra, just feel like, here, take this, consider it a tip. And had the car there, and people kept asking about the car, so, you know, I handed out cars, and I let the car do tricks, because kids were really interested in it, and other people just didn't notice it at all. And I got it onto the ferry, and I had to pick it up, and I dropped it. And the worst part is, I dropped the controller for it. But I got it up off the ferry and onto the sidewalk, and then the battery started to die. And I would have to wait like 5 minutes for it to recharge enough to go 20 feet. And then I'd have to wait 5 minutes for it to charge enough to feel enough power to move another 20 feet. And I kept doing this, and I was so frustrated. And this is going to sound hilarious, but I didn't know what to do, and I was like, I need some people to help me out. And sure enough, this lovely couple just appeared, or walked in, and I guess they were taking a walk, and I was like, hey, can you guys help me? And they're like, yeah, sure. Once again, that's the roommates. And I was like, okay, yeah, just need to walk it to my car, sorry. And they were helping me, and all of a sudden, it turns out they were from Hawaii. She was from my hometown. I think she was Auntie Bay's granddaughter. Couldn't quite tell. And when she said she was from here, or from there, I thought she was talking about Bremerton. I thought she meant Bremerton. So it didn't click in until after they had left that she said she was from Haula. And I was like, oh my gosh, home. And it was so cool because, I had some Hawaiians help me. I mean, that was true aloha. Thank you. Mahalo nui loa. That was thank you. But that was the day. And the very next day I left. And I had to pack everything I packed everything that night, and I did everything I could. I left out the toiletries and stuff so that I could be ready. And that was my that was the Seattle Retro Gaming Expo.